to a series of project management audio teachings and instruction by project management author, trainer and coach Phil C. Akinwale.
Hey folks, how you doing? It's your friend Phil here, project management trainer and coach. I'm going to spend time investing in your project management professional exam success. Why am I doing this? I want you to ace the test. Why? I want you to spread the project management message around. That people who are trying to run projects in firms without a deliberate, intentional method are doing it the wrong way. You see? In order to succeed on your projects, you should have a calculated, tested, tried, and intentional method to your projects. I don't care whatever anyone says. I've been there, done that. I mean, there's some projects, there's absolutely no way you can manage those projects without an intentional, structured approach to project management. You see, the difference between you, project managers, who are applying for the PMP exam to get more knowledge, to understand the skills, the tools and techniques, the difference between you and those people who say, yeah, PMP is a waste of time, the difference between them and you is you are doing this with a definite chief aim in your head. Let me just remind you about why you're doing this. Because if you know why you're doing this, you'll do it, right? A lot of people lose focus on why they are doing this. You are not doing this to get a certificate. You are doing this to, 1, get knowledge, 2, understand the background to the skills that you already have. Lots of you already have skills, but you're getting knowledge to support those skills. You're also trying to understand additional tools and techniques to put some structure behind what you already do. So we talk about brainstorming, but do you know that you take brainstorming to a whole new level when you use things like the Affinity Diagram, when you're able to take those brainstormed ideas and intentionally categorize them, make sense out of them, display them, share them in a way that people rapidly see the commonalities, rapidly understand what's at play, rapidly focus on the underlying ideas, the great ideas that people share. You're able to understand how to represent data. We talk about data gathering, we talk about data representation as we study for this exam. But take a minute and think about what some of these tools and techniques actually do for you. When I go into firms to help them think about their project management, to help them find the root cause of their failures, I use a ton of tools, techniques, and methods discussed in the PMBOK guide. That makes me more than just a trainer. That makes me more than someone just sharing knowledge. It takes me from sharing knowledge to actually being pragmatic. And that's where a lot of people miss the link between the PMBOK guide and the real world. They cannot make it pragmatic. So, reminder to yourself is, why am I doing this? I'm doing this with an intentionality to understand the knowledge behind some of the skills I already demonstrate. Or I'm doing this to take my skills to the next level. Because when you get people in a room and you're brainstorming, do you know that if you don't harvest those ideas properly, you don't display them properly, you're going to miss out. It's like lost equity. But when you, in the back of your mind, know, okay, this is an affinity diagram, or I'm going to use a PVPC chart to chart the course to get in from where we are now to 0 defects in the process. Or you decide, oh, let's use a Pareto to identify where majority of these issues are coming from, and let's hone in on that 20% that's causing all this trouble, and let's create a fishbone diagram to eliminate these root causes that are leading to the 80% of defects. The stuff you're studying for on the PMP exam is real. It's not bogus. It's not a waste of time. If you can make the link between PMBOK guide and the real world as a PMP, you are going to be worth your weight in gold. You know, we live in a world where talk is cheap, right? And that's why when you go for interviews, people want to know, okay, you said you can do this. Show me some proof. Show me a certification. Show me some paper, you know? Show me something that tells me you've spent time in the trenches, you've been there, done that, and you can deliver. And one of the first things that distinguishes you from other PMs applying for the same role is your certifications. Very rarely does, oh, I've got a master's and, oh, I don't have a master's come into play. Very, very rarely in the world of professional project management today. In most instances, it's going to be, have you had any formal project management training? That's the question that people ask. You know, another thing that people forget is that being PMP certified is a great thing. And in order to demonstrate that you've got project management under your belt, you also need to think about the tools and techniques that come with it. Maybe consider getting some additional certifications after this. Like what? Well, let me tell you the story of how I got more into project management. It was because of my ability to schedule, folks. Microsoft Project, Primavera, Clearview, PlanView, all those things. Hey, they're going to help boost your PMP exam cert even more. So if you find yourself studying some additional certs, it's not a bad thing. These are all distinguishing factors. How did I get into a very lucrative job after my master's degree? It will amaze you. It was Microsoft Project. It was my ability to schedule in an engineering firm that actually got me in touch with someone who became my mentor. You see, so don't stop at just the PMP. Go large, do more, get bigger, you know. So after your PMP, get some tools, techniques that are going to take you to the next level. That's what I'm talking about. Going to the next level. And it starts off, folks, with making a decision. Hey, I'm going for this PMP, and I'm going for it because of these things. You know, if you can get this under your belt and you can make this thing pragmatic, if you can take it from just theoretical babble as many people see it, you know, if you can take it, make it a reality, people will respect you. Too many PMs struggling, fighting, trying to let people know, hey, I can do this, I can do that. It starts off with your certification. That's why you're going for this, folks. That's why you're deciding, I am going to spend upwards of 100 to 200 hours to get a project management certification. And when I get this certification, I expect that my reality is going to change. You see, that's what you're saying. You know, a lot of people often wonder, hey, that Phil, what does he do? Is all he does throw videos up? You know, or people don't know my background. I've worked as a project manager, program manager in various Fortune 500s. And I know what it means to deliver stakeholder requirements. And I know what it means to fail at delivering stakeholder requirements. Something else I know is the power of pragmatism. When you take a theory or concept that you've studied for this certification and you go to a client in an interview and you demonstrate that you've got this, that if they were to employ you, you've got their back. You can make stuff happen. You can take these so-called theories and you can use them to create change. In other words, you become a change agent in that firm. I've seen the power of that. I've seen the power of it. But it starts off with you being a project management professional. You know, in the 5 levels of leadership, I teach 5 levels to get into influence people. And if you go for an interview, what do you want to do? You want to influence their thinking. How do you do that? It's by 1, the position. And in this case, the position is synonymous with your PMP. You got your foot in the door because of your PMP, because you stood out from the crowd as someone having a project management certification. And that got you to the interview. So that's the first level, your position. And then the second level is people following you because they like you. Why do they like you? Hey, interpersonal skills. When you go for an interview, bear in mind, they're not just looking at your PMP cert, they're looking at other things, right? So, likability. How do you become likable in an interview? Your body language, it says a lot. Open body language, not closed, not crossed legs, not crossed legs under the chair, not crossed arms, but great eye contact, great energy within reasonable limits, okay? And the ability to mirror the interviewer, whatever the interviewer seems to be projecting or giving you, return, okay? So having those great interpersonal skills makes you likable. Smile. There's power in the smile, returned or not. You never know what's going on in the interviewer's head, right? And then the next level of leadership is to be able to demonstrate what you have done for the organization. In this case, it's got to be the organization that you're coming from, or what you have done in the world of project management. That's why I tell a lot of people who say, hey, I'm looking for a job. I tell them, start from somewhere. Why not start from volunteering in the world of the PMI? Volunteer to be a PMI officer in some way in your local chapter. Those are things you bring to the table in an interview to show, hey, this is what I have done in project management. This is what I've done in a previous firm I've worked for. And I mean, you can back this up with references. Okay? So those are the kind of things that show people what you've done for previous firms and what you can do for them. You know? Another way you can show what you can do is by being able to methodically and articulately share what you have in your head. I remember after getting certified, June 25th, 2005, I started looking for positions, and I got some really interesting positions, but I wanted one that would last for some years. So I started shopping around, found this great aerospace company, and I mean, this was an aerospace firm. I'd been knocking on their door before I got certified, and now they're knocking on my door. Long story short, went for the interview. Interview revolved heavily around earned value management, and some of the major questions were, how would you implement an earned value management system? Well, I studied earned value for my PMP, but I had not used earned value. Now, what enabled me to eventually impress the interviewers and get hired, making 6 figures, was the ability to articulate what you needed to do to implement an earned value management system. My first contact with earned value was through my preparation for the PMP exam. You see how I took one concept out of what I was studying for the PMP exam and how I made it into something pragmatic, something that could be used. That's why I put out lots of these videos explaining earned value, because I went there as someone learning, but I came out as someone doing, as someone who had the knowledge. So by the time I walked the interviewers through, this is what you need to do, and this is the kind of system you need to have, and these are the kind of metrics that you're going to get from the system, and so on. I mean, they were so impressed. I mean, these were people, anyway, who were already using earned value, but they were so impressed at how I broke it down, I got hired within a month. In fact, I remember going for vacation in Europe and getting a phone call saying, hey, we've hired you for this role. All because it started with the PMP Foundation. A lot of people say, Phil, why are you so gung-ho and crazy about this thing? I'm crazy about it because it's changed my life. It's taken me to heights I couldn't have imagined. It's taken me from making a just reasonable, barely okay salary to a 300% increase. It's taken me from one extreme to another. So I know not everybody needs to get certified. Not everybody is a project manager. Not everybody feels like they need to in their organization. Yes, this video or audio isn't for you. It's for people that need a reminder of what this certification is going to do. It's going to blow the lid off your project management leadership. You see? Level 4 in leadership is all about what you've done for other people. So how can you use the PMP to gain leverage at level 4? Well, when you get into firms, do what I did. I saw my team members struggling, trying to learn project management, trying to get certified. What did I do? I started training them, started coaching them, started mentoring them, started having bi-weekly sessions. My boss consented to it. His boss consented to it. We made food available for the first meeting. And of course, where there's food, everyone gathers. And within the next number of years, I ended up getting over 50 of my colleagues certified. I didn't have to. It wasn't my job. But I made it my priority. You see? So level 4 is people follow you because of what you've done for them. I remember at the end of my tenure in that department, Phil had done such a good job, implemented the earned value systems and knowledge and awareness, had been a change agent. Now it was time to say bye to Phil. So my colleagues did a send-off for me, baked me a cake, had a little get-together. Bye, Phil. Within 3 days, I was back in that firm. I went from defense and space into IT. How did I get back into IT as a contractor in 3 days? Level 4. People follow you because of what you have done for them. All it took was 3 powerful references that had directly benefited from what I had done. They saw what I had brought to the table to get people certified. They saw what I had done in having these bi-weeklies and being a change agent, that they called this hiring manager and they said, hey, you're crazy if you don't hire this guy. You need to hire him. He can do anything. He can make milk out of lemons. At the end of the day, I got a phone call saying, okay, we want you to start on Monday. So I've gone on Thursday or so, came back on Monday. All because of these 3 powerful references. There was one reference in particular that spent almost an hour trying to convince the hiring manager, unbeknownst to me. I just put their names down as references, but they sold me. My boss, sold me hard. And then someone who had directly benefited from my training sold me even harder for 1 hour on the phone. You see? In fact, I believe it was someone who had observed my training for his peers and people reporting to him. Gave me such a powerful recommendation, powerful reference, it was impossible for the hiring manager to say no. And then went from that role I was in before to an even more prominent program management role. Better salary. You see what I'm saying? This stuff is real. It could change your life. I mean, it's all about perception. It's all about what you see it to be, and it's all about what you do with it. So being PMP certified is not just getting a piece of paper if you do not want it to be that. If you see it as a piece of paper, so be it to you. But if you see it as being a process, a journey, a foundation to build upon, the sky's the limit. Sky's the limit, folks. Since I got PMP certified, I've added other certs to my arsenal, and I just see this as different tools. I see it all as one big toolbox, and being able to change my mindset from fully plan driven to agile to Scrum, put on my risk management thinking cap, or put on my schedule management thinking cap, and that's why I've got 6 different certs from the PMI. I've also gotten the Prince 2 Foundation, which is very popular in the UK. Got my CSM as well. Got MCTS from the people at Microsoft. Certified Internet Webmaster. All this stuff is information that you will find useful. So when I finally got hired, I ended up using my Certified Internet Webmaster cert and knowledge to design a learning system for the people in that department within that aerospace firm. Without my Webmaster cert and knowledge, there's no way I could have added more value to that department. So don't stop building as you get certified as a PMP. That's awesome. But go to level 4 and begin to teach people, train people, help them, coach them in their project management. Be a student of project management. Don't just be a one-time student of the PMP. Become a student of project management. Sign up as a member of the PMI, because you can actually join these webinars and learn a ton of things on webinars, be more in tune with what is happening in the world of project management, and you can add more value. And I don't care if your title is PM or program manager or portfolio manager or director or VP, whatever. Projects make the firm go around. Projects bring a 180-degree change. So step it up and share information about projects and project management and lessons learned, and practice the essence of the Project Management Body of Knowledge Guide. Practice the tenets of the Project Management Body of Knowledge Guide. Charters aren't used in your firm? Well, begin to introduce the power of having a project charter, a document that at the very beginning puts everyone on the same page. Begin to practice the essence of scoping out your work. I mean, why wouldn't you use a WBS? If you truly know the power of the work breakdown structure, of the discovery, of the elaboration that happens as you get the team together in a room and you build a WBS, there's power in that thing. There's power of a uniform vision, of a common understanding. Why wouldn't you use it? If you truly understand that developing a schedule and running the project with a schedule, with specific milestones, even if you just used a milestone chart. Let's say you didn't even use a full-blown 3,000, 2,000, 20,000, as I had in one project line schedule. Even if you just use milestones, do you know the power of that? There's a lot of power in it, folks. This stuff that we look at casually, this stuff can bring about a millionfold return in many firms. And that's why government organizations like the NASAs and the FBIs and the Army Corps of Engineers, US Army, Department of Transport, Department of Commerce, the US Air Force, that's why agencies like that have engaged me to train their teams, because they know that there's power in having a uniform vision towards project management, and there is power in having your people be competent in the discipline of project management. That's why we do what we do. Level 5 of leadership is the pinnacle. You get to this level and people know that you've climbed the ladder from level 1 up. You've gained their credibility, or you've gained their trust, you've gained credibility, and people know that you're sincere in what you represent. They know that you're not just a figurehead project manager. They know that you deliver. They know you deliver the goods. And I mean, moving from one firm to another, you got to level 5 in one firm, well, you might have to start from level 1 in a new firm, but at least you've been through the journey, and it's a continuous journey. You don't stop. Even when you get to level 5, to stay at level 5, you need to continually build trust, be credible, be valuable, be sincere, be likable. So climbing up the levels of leadership as a PMP doesn't mean that you leave the other levels behind, you see. That's the journey you're on. That's the journey. So you're starting at level 1, being a PMP. You're going over to level 2. You're being likable. You're going to level 3, still maintaining your PMP and being likable. You're now getting stuff done at level 3. You're going to level 4. You're adding value to people. And then you get to level 5 and you're at the pinnacle. I mean, over the years you have earned trust and people see what you do and they respect you for it. You go into a room and people know who you are. They know that you bring solutions. They know that you deliver. That's what I'm talking about. So why don't you start the journey? Start the journey today. Start studying. Understand what it means to make change in project management. I challenge you, if you're brought into a firm that is doing badly in their project management, can you make a change? Can you bring about a difference in mindset? Do you have the passion about what you're spending your days on, or are you just going through it like, oh, well, I've got a job? Be passionate about this stuff. Be passionate to see your company spending money the right way. Be passionate to see your company succeeding in projects. What a lot of PMs don't realize is that project management is the fuel that brings the change. That's it. Because you can have all these fancy projects, but if you've got horrible project management, you're not going to get anywhere. If you've got great project management, fueling the fire, getting stuff done, the projects make changes, the programs get the benefits, the portfolios see the strategic business objectives being met, the company is achieving its purpose, and everyone's happy. That's it. Okay? Now, don't make this a thing of PMBOK guide. I don't care whatever the method you're using, whether you're fully plan-driven, whether you're iterative, whether you're agile. It's the same mindset. Get the knowledge, be likable, get stuff done, share knowledge, add value to people, and you'll succeed. I hope that gave you some inspiration, some pointers. Don't forget to check out our website, www.praizion.com. If you want to get certified, sign up for one of our courses. And I wish you all the best. Bye for now.
And that concludes today's program. Please visit Praizion for more project management, PMP and Microsoft project study materials.